says it's live on my phone.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. We are hopefully live. Please say hello if we're live, so that we know. We are here with the wonderful Bec Griffiths. Am I saying it right, Bec?
Yeah.
I'm always checking because I'm never sure.
Oh, I've got a pretty standard name. Griffiths is like one of the most, especially in the UK, would be really common as a surname.
Yeah, it's a bit like Emma Collins, you know.
Yeah, well, I've never struggled with your name, Emma. I'm just gonna go into Facebook group on my phone so I can actually see if people are saying anything. While I'm doing that, Bec, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Griffiths. I am an Australian photographer, but also have worked in marketing as a professional marketer for over 20 years now. And then after I kind of throw my life up in the air and travel around Australia for 12 months in a camper van, I came back and kind of now work as a mentor and an educator in marketing, specifically in the space for artists. So the main thing I do is I'm a co-founder of Naked Marketing School, which is specifically education for artists that includes a 6-month course, but also we release other education tools at various times as well. I live in Melbourne with my husband and my 2 kids who probably, it's like 7 a.m. here, so at some point they will come slamming in during this Zoom call. And I guess I have been friends with artists through my own art for years and years and kind of helped them on the side with how to reframe feeling overwhelmed by marketing, because I think that's a really common thing, and really am enjoying now kind of helping people break it down into manageable steps so it doesn't feel as overwhelming and I don't know, sometimes disempowering. I think people find that with marketing.
Okay, wow, that's really cool. Yes, I think a lot of people in our community can relate to marketing overwhelm and also maybe feeling a bit icky about marketing sometimes.
Yeah.
Almost feels like a dirty word, which it doesn't have to be at all.
Not knowing where to start as well, you know. And I think sometimes the more you get bogged down with all the other things, it becomes pushed to the back of the list of things to take because you feel like you're firefighting with the things that have to happen for clients, and that always gets put to the back of the list, probably because
and I think partly because it becomes a thing on the list rather than something that sits at the heart of your business. So when it sits at the heart of your business, so when you're kind of driving your business based on customer needs, then actually it's something that isn't a separate conversation. It just is part of your business, and it is something. It's less of a to-do list thing and more of a just you're doing it in everything that you do, so to speak.
I wonder if that feeling of ickiness for many people comes from confusing marketing and sales.
Definitely.
So can we maybe define what marketing is and what it isn't?
Yeah, I mean, thousands of people have tried. If you do a Google search, but I will give you my definition.
I have met many books. One of them is called "This is Marketing," and this is this thick.
Yeah, that's right. That's how I know. It's crazy. And because I've worked in it for so long, it's a language that's very intuitive to me. And it was only when I started working with artists in this more formal capacity that I went, and this is what I teach as well, I kind of want to think about what the audience thinks and then frame my language to meet that thinking and either debunk it or kind of reinforce it. And then I realized just how much it's just not even a clear word, marketing. So I guess marketing to me is, I'm going to talk about brand. So the definition I use of brand is the sum of all parts and experiences and thoughts and feelings about your business and what you're offering. So I think sometimes brand people feel like is a logo or I don't know, a typeface, when actually it's every single time you turn up to a photo shoot, you are representing your brand. Every single time you send an email, you're representing your brand. Every single time you meet someone at a party and you tell them about the business offer that you have, you're representing your brand. And all of those interactions and all of the things they see and all of the ways they, so sometimes it's a two-way interaction with the brand, and sometimes it's, they might see an Instagram story and never respond to it, but they've seen it. All of that creates what your brand is. And then marketing is bringing that brand to your audiences. So how do you talk, so tools are things like Instagram stories, things like Zoomcasts, things like ads in the local paper. They're all kind of marketing tools. And then sales is, that's the kind of, I guess that's the convincing, or the kind of bit at the end that tips people from it being a brand that they understand to a brand to inviting them to kind of pay money.
Yeah. And you don't want to be like, if you're always selling, no one's gonna buy everything you ever put out there, right? Buy from me. There's a sale today. Like, no.
Well, you think about the really, really big brands, successful brands. So Coke, banks. I don't know a lot of your banks. I know you've got HSBC, but other than that, I don't know. But they would do the same thing. So they pay millions of dollars for TV advertising that is just about positioning their brand.
Right.
So they tell stories without necessarily saying, our product is the best product.
Yeah.
Sign up today.
Yeah. There definitely is a place for that. And I think that's something that artists actually find really difficult, is to ask for that sale and to give a call to action and to put a price on it. But all of those things are important, because if you are if you're a customer, if you put yourself in a customer's shoes, sometimes you just need to understand, but what's the offer? Like, what is it that you're selling? I like you, I want to engage with you, but it's very common for people to go, but I don't actually know what you sell, so how can I support you in that way?
Or like, I didn't know you offered that. I didn't know you photographed this thing.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for artists, though, because you are what you make. So, no one else could do it. So there's a real personal attachment to it. You're really emotionally attached to what you're selling. And so there's a fear as well, because for people not to like or to book you or like what you do, it feels personal.
Yeah, it feels like a validation of you as an artist. Yeah.
So how do you overcome that?
Well, we talk about this quite at depth in the Naked Marketing course, and so I'll only go into it slightly today, but broadly, when you turn up, there's kind of different selves that you have to center yourself in at different points in your business. So there's your artist self, which is, you need to be living in your artist self to create the best art. You need to be living in that space to let go of inhibitions about what people are going to think. You need to live in that space to find innovative and kind of, that's your breakthrough stuff. And you can't do that with your business hat on. But then at other times, you need to put your business hat on, and you need to the artist self has to sit over to the side for a little bit, and you need to be more pragmatic about, but what is the need that I'm meeting for a customer? What is the way that I can do that that's valuable to them? And what value am I bringing to that customer? And Jan, my business partner, talks about this in more detail. That's more her space. So I kind of don't want to also take up bastardize what she talks about, but effectively you need to find ways that at times you can sit that beside you and put your other hat on, so to speak. I think the other thing that we teach a lot about is that actually before you go into marketing, you got to go right back to why you're in business. So making, I mean, we were talking just beforehand before we went live, sometimes artists, actually the right path for them is not to be in business. It's a different calling to kind of be in business and sell your art, and both paths are completely valid. But what I would encourage is, for those of you who have that calling for this to be your business self as well, it's really about finding the sweet spot. And I always find this difficult with hands. I'm a hand talker, but concentric circles I find kind of tricky. So there's the circle, which is kind of where you want to bring art to the world and why you feel strongly and passionately, because you need to feel strongly and passionately to survive in business with art, as to why you want to bring art to the world. But then you've really got to layer in this other piece, is what is the need that you're meeting of your customer? Because if you only sit here, then it's very difficult to market, because it's very difficult to have other people understand the value of what you're bringing. Whereas once you layer in, I'm going to meet a need of a customer, and you find that sweet spot in the middle of it fulfills you and it meets an actual need of a customer, then actually the marketing gets much easier, because you're starting it from this gut purpose rather than from, well, I want to do art and how do I monetize it? Instead, you're starting from, how can I meet the needs of a customer? Then you don't feel as icky about selling it, because you know you're meeting someone's needs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I also often say that, like, if you're in business, then, as you said, sort of putting your business hat on, like, once you've done your math, and if you rely on this as an income, then like almost all those icky feelings go away, because you have your hard numbers in front of you.
Yeah.
You kind of, you know that you need to meet those certain goals. And like, if we go back to theory of marketing, like pricing is actually part of the marketing mix, right?
Yeah.
So how you price is also part of your whole marketing system. So it's not separate bits. Everything is part of marketing, essentially.
For sure. I mean, you've probably all heard, because we all hear it through the chats, that there's the 4 Ps and the 7 Ps.
Yeah.
And the 4 Ps are like price, product. I'm going to get this wrong now, because this is 101. I did it like 20 years ago. Price, product, promotion, and place.
Yeah.
So that's, where do you sell it? How are you going to promote it? Which is what a lot of people call the marketing piece.
Yeah.
And sales fits in that too. How are you going to price it? But also, what is it? But again, if you go right back to the academics of marketing, it all starts with, who is the customer and what is the need that you're going to fulfill of that customer? Because if you're not fulfilling a need, then the other bits become a little bit irrelevant, because there's no need. I mean, people don't need it, therefore they're not going to buy it.
So maybe now is a good place to talk about, I know a lot of people in our community wonder about that, is marketing specifically for documentary family photographers. And if you have any thoughts on that, and how people can do that, and how can they meet that need, and how to discover that need. I don't know, like, just
So I think that
how to define the need as well. So
so there's about 4 questions in there, so I'll tackle a couple, and if I miss one, come back to it. But okay, so one of the things that I was not surprised by as a question, and also Emma and I know each other well, and we've had discussions about the documentary, I guess, where documentary is at in the UK market. And I know it's something that's partly what you guys are doing, is you're trying to elevate documentary photography. But I did have a little kind of half smile when I read the question about how do I stand out versus lifestyle, because my immediate answer is, you do documentary. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, that differentiates you immediately. Now, where you might be struggling, and I saw this in the thread of the questions, is, but my customers want smiley happy, or they want lifestyle. They don't want documentary. And someone even said, oh, I get it, they're my wrong customer. Yeah, they're your wrong customer. So, and I don't mean to be facetious, or I actually come at it with extreme empathy, because creating art comes from such a soul driven place, and then putting money on it can feel really icky. Like, I really do get that.
Yeah.
But I also think it's my role in a lot of ways to strip back the emotion of it and go, yeah, let's actually just look at it pragmatically. If you're doing documentary, you will stand out from lifestyle, particularly because, as I understand it, it's much newer to the UK market.
Yeah.
So then I think your question is, sorry, let me just say one more thing on that. So one of the things I teach a lot about is a thing called a single-minded proposition, which you might have heard in different ways as a USP, or there's different languages around it. But basically, at the heart of marketing, and really successful marketing, is really being able to articulate what it is that makes your brand and your offer stand out, and being very single-minded about what that is. And therefore, all of your marketing materials reference back to that thing.
Yeah.
So for a lot of you at the moment, that's going to sit in, I take real and candid photos, or I take photos that feel more like you. We capture the real life. I capture. So one of Alice had this. I was looking at Alice's website yesterday. Be yourselves, best behavior optional. That's perfect, right?
Yeah.
That's really fantastic, because that immediately differentiates from a lifestyle session. I mean, lifestyle photographers can say that in terms of, I'll make you feel comfortable. I'm not going to look down on your kids acting up. But in documentary, it has this extra power of, actually, you can just totally be yourselves. In fact, I want you to totally be yourselves. I want to see the fights. I want to see the kind of proper cuddles. I want to see the crazy selves. So first of all, I would say, being a documentary photographer, especially in an emerging market, which it sounds like the UK is, and I'm not sure about the rest of Europe, but that's like marketing magic to go, I actually am going to stand out. So that's my first response. The second one is, and I'm looking at my notes because I knew it was 7 a.m. So I made some notes to make sure my brain was working properly. But the other thing is, Antonina, your question around, but how do you find what that need is? So again, there's an exercise we do in Naked Marketing, but I can give you a short version of it, which is an empathy map. So that is, lots of you have done business courses before, will have been told, define your target client, tell us who your think of your celebrity ideal client. And there is a place for those things, but that's really very surface stuff often. So to really get deeply into who your audience is and what need you might be trying to meet, you need to get deep into a thing called empathy mapping. So you need to really understand that target client beyond surface, beyond they live in Wimbledon. See, I know a suburb in the UK.
Yeah, that's a place.
And beyond some of the really simple stuff. So that has a place, that simple stuff. And if you're starting out, that's a really good place to start. But where you get really strategic and clever about it is when you're really deeply thinking about what is the experience they're having in their life at the moment. So for you guys, it's lockdown. There's this collective lockdown experience. And there's a global grieving process going on. So all of those things help you understand, well, let's say mum, because often it's mum that does the photography booking, how is mum feeling about life at the moment? What kind of influences are in her life? If you're doing mainly families, she's probably helping with homeschooling, if not carrying the majority of the load of homeschooling. Maybe she's had a holiday cancelled, maybe. And it's kind of somewhat easier to talk about lockdown because it's such a collective experience, but the age of her kids will make it different, that experience. The how her husband is likely to feel about booking a family session, all of those things, if you sit deeply into them and are able to start answering those questions, then what it starts to do is spark, oh, okay, so one thing maybe I could tap into is this lockdown experience is really difficult. but also it's actually a really nice bonding time if we can kind of find some air outside of the schooling and the kind of stress. And if we're lucky enough to have kept our jobs, well, wow, you know, I know for Emma, you've got teens at home. They're at home more than you would ever have had them at home if it wasn't for lockdown. And so is there a need that you can meet, which is capture it now because life moves quickly, you know, I'm on the fly, so I'm kind of making it up. But it's really, at the core of it is, if you really understand your audience and you really understand what's driving them and what their motivation is, then you start to understand where your offer can hit that sweet spot in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure.
Making my brain
is hard at work.
I know. I do sometimes. I worked in corporate for a long time, so I slip into corporate speak sometimes. So if you really, if something doesn't make sense, just, I'm very used to people going,
it's fine. I often think, like, from my experience about like the clients that I work with, and we had a few questions that were similar, like, what do I do when I first get started? How do I start with marketing? And kind of like thinking about your target client, I often tell people, well, if you have no idea, and that's genuine, like when I first started, I had no idea who this kind of person would be. You just think about you, like the kind of person you are, and then just with the more disposable income. That was my advice always. I think especially,
it's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point.
And I mean, your marketing is great, Antonina, so it's worked very well for you. But I do think there is actually, that's also a bit of a trap, right? I do meet a lot of people who go, but I want this person, and they describe themselves, and I go, okay, but is that really who's going to be buying it? So you just have to be careful. But I think it's a great
I don't mean like exactly like me, because I don't think I'm much more hippie than any of my clients.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there's I think there's a line, but I think more like personality wise, where, you know, they care about their family, like that. I care about my family. I'm sentimental, so my clients are sentimental. Those kind of things, like basically what you said about empathy mapping, right? Where you think about, it's not the place that where they live or where they shop, it's what they value, right?
Absolutely.
And I with art, and well, particularly with photography, when it's based around a family, I think that really comes into it. And I often find with clients that I do get on with them. They are people that I feel like I could be friends with, because they've obviously connected with something that I've said or shown or written that's made them feel comfortable in coming to me.
Yeah, and I think both of you are hitting on another point, which is around being able to show up as yourself. So it's kind of a slight difference to how you define your offer and your target market. It's more, so your offer and your target market is more that deep empathy and what is it that they need. And then the bit of you that comes into the sweet spot is also, it's your art, but it's also yourself, right? Because
that's linked.
I'm going to be really pragmatic about it. People are buying time with you. So yes, they're buying memories of the experience and a tangible, printed, framed, digital offer, however you deliver your end product. But actually they're weighing up, do I want this person in my home? And particularly for documentary, if you're doing half day or full day sessions, they want to be really comfortable that you are going to be in their house, seeing all their dirt. And I think there's a question about personal branding that you wanted to go into, Antonina. And I think I hate the term personal branding, and I don't think I'm alone in that. It makes me feel icky. I think people are human, brands are not. But I do think in a service, what I would call high touch business, which you guys all do, clients are definitely wanting to see you and what you're like, because if they're going to have you for even 2, 4, sometimes 8 hours in their house, that's a big consideration for them.
Yeah, they have to be comfortable with, like, I had one session where I turned up and I haven't seen those guys in ages. Actually, I think the dad I've never ever met, and they were in their pajamas. It was like 7 a.m. And he joked, like, what a way to meet you. Like, he was still in bed. But they were comfortable with me because I try and put as much myself as I can without spitting all the personal stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I mean, that's the other thing too. So even if you look at other big name photographers that are putting themselves out there, I guarantee you're seeing 2% of their lives still. They're still very selective about how they share and what they share.
I think as well, with documentary, more so perhaps than lifestyle, I feel like it's quite a long game. So that whole being honest and showing yourself, because that matches up with the idea as well of showing real life.
Yeah.
And the more that people see of that and connect with that side of you, the more confidence they have.
Yeah.
You're the right sort of person for them, because it's a really intimate type of shoot. It's more intimate, it's more revealing, and you've got to be more vulnerable to go through it. So there's that building in confidence with you as a person, that so sometimes I think it's people might have heard of you months or even years previously.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Or
and I
incrementally build up to longer sessions as well. That's another thing.
Yeah. I think that you just made me think of another thing, which is this trap that we've fallen into around feeling like we need to be perfect and pretending to be perfect, and particularly because of social media. There's kind of seems to be this, and I think for anyone going into documentary, you're already rebelling against that, right? So there's already a part of you that is like, I am not connected to that. That is not my thing. That's not the clients I want to hang out with, and that's not what I want to put forward. But then this interesting thing happens where we go, oh, but we're a business and we're marketing, so we've got to kind of have our best selves forward. And I think you're exactly right, Emma, that actually in documentary, showing some kind of realness to it is actually demonstrating what you can offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Because the whole thing that people are buying into is being recording the real.
Yeah, and you kind of have to show that you are living with that ethos yourself, that you're not you're trying to be perfect. Like I struggled for a while with sharing the fact I home educate, so I'm quite hippie in that regard, like all my thoughts about education and childhood. But also I've last couple of years I've been photographing a lot of protests that's quite political, and traditionally, like, you don't mix politics and business, right? So do I share this stuff, or do I just like not share? And then as soon as I started sharing those things, my engagement with people who follow me, clients, potential clients, went through the roof, because people just relate to that. And I was really scared to kind of like really reveal that part of myself.
It's so relevant these days. It's the politics and things like that. There's been some really, really big things that have happened in the last few years that have engaged people that perhaps wouldn't ordinarily be engaged with politics, and so people are having more of those sort of conversations. And again, I think people connect. I think it's a really good way of connecting people with people, actually, if it's the right thing for you, and it obviously works. You found it works.
And I guess I would say in that space, because I've worked with artists who are much more vulnerable in that space. I mean, we're still white women who are coming from immense privilege, so sharing those things is far less vulnerable for us than a lot of other people. But having worked with artists in that space, actually what you tend to find is that you might lose some audience, maybe, but they're not the audience you want to work with anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And when you get inquiries, asking for a cake smash or whatever it is, it doesn't matter because they aren't your audience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. But like, I know that I actually have a lot of clients from the States that come, you know, whether they live here for a few years or they visit. And very, very often, like once they learn that I'm Russian, and especially over the past 4 years, you know, every conversation literally started, we're talking about Putin and Trump. And it was so interesting. Like, I've never once had a Trump supporter as a client. But it's like they felt that they could speak to me and kind of like felt like I would believe the same things they do. I don't know.
I think that, you know, there's an intellectual point in that, right? Which is around this collective understanding. So one of the things with COVID is obviously each country, each household, each person is having their own experience of it. But there's also this collectiveness to it, which I have never, I mean, I don't know, I'm in my early 40s. I've never felt that collectiveness before. I think our generation, this is like a really, you know, it's like really dumb to say because it's so obvious, but pivotal kind of period of time in all of our lives and our children's lives. And I think that that has brought out this kind of really ability to have empathic conversations and real conversations, which, because there's a something in common. It's like, you know, when you become a mum and suddenly you're having very deep conversations about labor and birth and
Poop.
yeah, and behavior of your kids and stuff that is really quite personal. But as soon as you know you have that collective experience, you can dive in deeper. And I suspect that's the same with what's happening politically in the world.
Yeah, I guess.
And even before lockdown, I feel like in artist circles anyway, there was a pretty you know, general view of Trump and what that meant for the world, and that again, that collective experience opens the discussion up.
Yeah, for sure. That was deep.
It's 7:30. I'm doing well.
You're doing really well, Bec.
Ends of the spectrum here. We've got Bec who's just waking up, and we're kind of like ready for bed.
Except you guys you're a night owl, Emma, so this is like midday for you.
Jeez. I get a mails from her at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
I know. She's on, like, I'm like, shouldn't you be asleep?
We actually have we had those questions before, but we had another one pop up in chat just now from Becca, and she's saying, I wonder what your advice is starting out when starting out and raising awareness of you and your brand in the local area.
Yeah. So I always feel like people are disappointed by my answer in this because it's word of mouth. Okay. So you can do all the fancy marketing tricks in the world, but I think you guys would agree your business is grown by word of mouth. So it's, and then you can be more strategic about that. And I think if you guys didn't do this overtly, I suspect you did it intuitively, where you kind of reach out to people and do sessions with families that either have quite good influence in their community. So that, and I don't mean influencer in the social media sense. I mean, they're just someone who will promote you. There's someone who in their school community or their parenting community or their, if you're a wedding photographer, in their kind of community of peers will, you know, shout about how amazing the session was. We'll share those images. And again, I don't just mean on social media. I mean, someone comes to their house and they go, look at this amazing session that I had. And it's really about getting out there. I think one thing we're really shy of as artists is doing work for free. And I think that we should have boundaries around that. Without a doubt, you can easily kind of fall into feeling used in that space. But I would just say the value of doing a shoot isn't always money. So if you find value because it helps you refine what your offer is, if you find value because it helps, you know, that person is then going to talk to 10 friends about it, then I actually encourage doing some strategic but free shoots. It builds your portfolio. It gets people to talk about you. It helps you kind of understand. One of the I do very little paid shoots. I kind of keep that separate. But when I have done paid shoots, I remember doing one, and I'm more lifestyle than documentary, but I just learnt so much from, oh yeah, I was there too long. The kid really got sick of me at the end. Like, it's just all that little stuff that helps you refine. I mean, you guys have done this for years. You'll know all this stuff already, but and really intrinsically it's word of mouth. And the other thing is, don't share images that you don't want to take. So don't go and share lifestyle images if you want to be booked as a documentary photographer, especially when you're starting out. Be really, later on you can play a little bit if you've got a strong hand and go, look, I don't normally do this, but look at this shoot that I did. But when you're starting out, be really clear. If you want to be documentary, your portfolio needs to be documentary.
For sure. And another thing with that is, like, you know, you might still get booked for other shoots, for other work, and that's fine.
Just don't show it.
Just don't show it. I've had shoots that I loved, but I couldn't share them because they were just not documentary at all.
Yeah. And you were saying something about that earlier, where it has to thread through in everything really clearly, and that's your website and your social media as well. It's so easy to put things on social media and not think that they're connected. A lot of
so I'm
first.
So just to use Alice, who I've never met, but I now know is like an amazing photographer because I was stalking her website yesterday. She talks on her website about be yourselves, best behavior optional. So if she then had a really pretty photo of perfect dresses and cake smashes, it just jars. Like, it's just, you confuse. It's inconsistent and confusing.
Absolutely. And we actually had another question. What if you already started as lifestyle photographer? And here, like, I think it will depend whether you want to switch straight away. You kind of want to just cut off lifestyle side of things and do documentary, or whether you sort of trying to do it gradually because you depend on that lifestyle income.
That's what I was going to say. If you're depending on the income, then probably you have to transition. And you can start to do, and someone put this question in around trying to encourage or entice, or, you know, existing clients to go to documentary, and then that will quickly help you understand if they're the right clients. But also, if you think back to the empathy map, anytime you're having an interaction where you know it's not the right client, that's also knowledge, right? That's also, okay, so I don't appeal, or I don't think the fit is with this type of person. So I'm not going to spend time and energy and kind of catering to that type of person. I'm going to do the shoots when I'm requested. I'm going to stop sharing the images. I'm going to go and do strategic portfolio building, because even though I'm an established photographer, I actually want to change the way that I'm positioned. So I need the content that shows that new positioning. You know what I like in the States? I don't know if you guys do this too, but both Emma and I are in a class with Kirsten Lewis, who's a documentary photographer in the States. And what I really like about what she talks about is that documentary photography group, they all photograph each other and they practice on each other. And so that's the other way to do it. That's less about kind of getting your name as word of mouth, but more about playing with the form, building a portfolio. And I'm sure you guys, you guys do a similar thing.
It is a great way to do it as well, because you know that they understand what to expect and what to get out of it, and that they're going to be completely real, because that is often a problem that you'll get come up with, that clients don't quite understand real. And they'll still have everything tidied up, and it all will have their makeup on ready. You know, not everyone is quite understood, even how, obviously that's to do with speaking to people in advance, but you still get that happening.
You get lifestyled, as we've coined the phrase, getting lifestyled. I think some people they think they're on board with documentary and they really want to be. They really, really want to be, but they're not quite ready. And that's the question of maybe doing a shorter session with them first, and maybe it's a bit more lifestyle. I had clients like that, where the first session is kind of like edging on like lifestyle, towards lifestyle, but then the next year they book a whole day in their life and they're completely real.
That's a good way to do it.
But yeah, photographers definitely make great models. But if you're not going to photographers, one thing I'll say is don't do model calls on your Facebook.
Oh, for documentary?
For documentary, like never do
Yeah,
model
that's
calls.
good advice. I'm just watching this hotspot kind of grow on my head.
That's actually really nice. You actually
It's
have
really
light.
pretty there, isn't it?
It's really pretty.
Yeah. And if we're on long enough, it becomes, I've got lace curtains and you can see the leaves, but I'm just trying to not like be hot spotted right in the middle.
You have sun. We're jealous.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do model calls because they will backfire very quickly. Instead, I think you have to find families, as Becky was saying earlier, like reach to them privately.
I think it's a much better way of doing that as well, because if you're putting model calls out, you start getting people following you who want freebies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily the right people. They're not the people who want to pay for your work, and they're not necessarily the right families for a shoot anyway. So actually finding, like, whether it's on social media or just people that you know that you think, you know, that you've seen in the playground. Sometimes I've seen people that I think, just because of something like they've got, like, there's this family that I want to photograph locally because they've got one of those bikes that they use in Denmark with the box at the front, and all the kids sit in the box and they cycle around St Albans, which is ridiculous because there's hills here. But anyway, they seem it's not really hilly, but there's still some up and down, and there's no way that I can manage that with a big, massive, heavy bike with this box.
I'm imagining your 3 like almost teen kids in one of them. That'd be really funny.
It's
funny with Freddie.
I want you to do that as a project. I want to see it. Make all 3 of them.
I once actually, like, what to Emma was saying, I was driving, so I couldn't stop, and it was in traffic. But I saw, like, it was in Kensington, like, it was a very posh area, and they had one of those bikes, and there were 3 kids in there, and one of them was playing violin as they were riding through traffic.
Oh my God, that's
and I so badly wanted to stop and give them my car.
So it's those bikes. It's the bikes, isn't it? They're our ideal customer. That needs to come into the empathy.
Yes. In all seriousness, where are they buying those bikes? Go and hang out there.
Yeah.
They're importing them from Denmark, and there'll be all sorts of things from Brexit now, so you won't be able to. So that's the end of that. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the questions. So Emma, if you want to talk.
Oh God.
Oh no, I have a question from Becca again. I find I can waste a lot of time on Instagram and don't necessarily see a return on it, or I feel I don't. Do you think I should still be using it as a primary marketing tool?
Oh, the question. You know, I'm really annoying as kind of a guest speaker with this kind of stuff, because I'm always like, well, I have 7 questions before I can answer that properly. I would say that
it depends. I think it depends.
Well, yeah, and so let me try and give something that's helpful. So I would say that Instagram, forget about marketing for a second. Instagram can be a complete suck of confidence and energy. And so I think your first and foremost thing is to have boundaries around how you're going to help that not happen. So some of that is around, I only go on, and everyone's different. I am on Instagram a lot. I use it as a big business tool. I'm on it too much, but I'm pretty good at it not kind of bringing me down into the abyss of kind of, oh my God, my work's terrible and I'm just giving up. I do fall in that space sometimes, but I'm kind of okay about it. So what I would say is you need to be really tapping into personally what all your boundaries are. So other people I know, they're really brutal about who they follow, because if accounts that you follow kind of, even if they're amazing photographers, are not making you feel good, then get rid of it. Other boundaries is I only go in twice a day and I set a timer for half an hour. Other boundaries are I'm only going to post 3 times a week. So as a self piece, I would have my own personal boundaries around it. As a business tool, I'm a bit mixed about it. I think you can definitely have a business without Instagram, but I do think that clients will often, if they've heard of a photographer, jump onto Instagram and see what you offer and see kind of if they're going to feel like a fit with you. I would just say if you're going to do Instagram, the key tips are to be consistent. So if you're going to post 3 days a week, then try and post 3 days a week, to make sure you're using it in the way we spoke about, which is if you're a documentary photographer, not showing lifestyle images, keeping the brand consistent. And just, yeah, you need to get a sense of for yourself about whether you think it's a good business tool for you. And I think for a lot of us, that actually the question is it good for my mental health to be on there? Often I get asked that question. Actually, what they're really asking is, I'm finding it really hard mentally to be on Instagram, and is it worth it? And actually your mental health is worth more than anything. So if you can't put boundaries around it, then it's not worth being on there.
I end up often deleting. I had last week I deleted Instagram and Facebook off my phone because I was like, I've had enough. I can't. But then I put them back on. I think like for me personally, so I would say if you're focusing, I think Instagram is more like a support tool rather than, especially if you're focusing on a local area, it's more of a support tool than the main marketing tool.
Interesting though, because I think I've watched your marketing for a bit, and you are you're a great marketer, but also I can see that your training is kind of similar to mine from years and years ago. It's structured and specific. But you know what surprised me recently? A friend of mine started an elopement business, and they don't have a website. They only have Instagram. She's a photographer, and then she's got a business partner who's a celebrant, and they're booking weddings.
I think weddings are very different. I have a friend who is at the top of her game on Instagram. She's a wedding photographer, and she books so much off Instagram.
Yeah,
it seems to be
a wedding thing. Yeah,
we've had conversations with her about that, and we realized that I think brides use Instagram very differently to a busy mom. Where a bride is she's gonna be browsing hashtags, looking for inspiration, kind of like with Pinterest. Saving things. So my friend's whole strategy is about sharing tips on where to buy flowers or inspirational bouquets or dresses or whatever.
Yeah.
Tagging venues, all that. Whereas like I find with my clients,
I think that weddings as a wedding photographer, Instagram's a really good fit for all those reasons. Because it's primarily a different demographic of person that you're marketing to, and that young age makes a difference anyway as to what social media your favored social media.
Yeah.
But that busy mum time thing is a big factor. Whereas when you're getting married and you're single, well, you're not single, you're getting married, it's taking over your life, those sort of bridezillas, and that's all consuming at that point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And actually what I should have answered is it depends on your client, actually. So there's the protecting of self piece, which is really important, but actually it's also, are your clients on Instagram?
Yeah.
And are they sharing? And interestingly though, just be careful making assumptions in that space, because I think because we're judgmental of our own use of social media, we often think that, oh no, they're not on social media, they're too busy. And then we look at our own lives and go, they're on social media. We're looking at it.
Good point.
I just had Mercy just said in the comments, oh, younger mums are all on Instagram.
I think there's a difference between mums as well, like mums who've got teenage kids, not so much, but the younger generation coming through with young mums now, I think are.
Yeah.
Because I don't have teenage kids, I'm claiming young mum. Like, that's me. I'm a young mum then.
Yeah, me too then.
I'm myself old in this conversation. I am old.
Yeah. I think it just you probably want to watch the behavior. Like I notice with I follow my clients, my actual clients that I've worked with already, and I watch what they do, and not all of them on Instagram. Some of them only like once a year.
Yeah. But that's them posting. That's not them looking.
That is true.
Oh,
That is
that's
very
true.
true.
I've got a very good friend of mine who never, ever posts, but I know she's there.
Watching, yeah.
Oh, my kids are like that. It's on my older two. They're both on Instagram, but they never post. But they're
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. So they could be watching. And I know that sometimes, I think Becky mentioned that before, like people might find you elsewhere. They might find you on Google. They might, come to you via word of mouth. And usually people will go and check you out on social media. And Instagram, I think, is the default.
I know how my behavior has changed as well over like recent years, and how when I'll find something that, or I'll see something, or some annoying advert will pop up and it'll grab my attention, and I'll start not obsessing over it, but you want to know more about it, and you start stalking, don't you? You start stalking things, whether it's a person or a product. Because there's so much information out there, you can do that. So yeah, I'm absolutely sure that if you've got heard of a photographer and you're looking for a photographer, or not even looking for them, you just see something you like, you start following everything they do, even if it's from afar.
Yeah.
But that seed is being put in.
Also, something you said earlier triggered something else that I think as photographers, I don't know about other art forms really, but definitely as photographers, we fall into, and I didn't use this phrase, I think it was Brooke Schultz, who's an American photographer, the echo chamber. So one of the things with Instagram is we can fall into finding validation by being refeatured by photography hubs, and it's a great connect. I mean, I've made friends through Instagram that are photographers, so it's not that that's not a good thing. I think that's amazing, and I, like lots of us, like to get featured and go, oh, someone kind of given me a little validation pat on the back, so to speak. But you just need to be clear about why you're on Instagram. Are you on Instagram to connect with, engage with, and attract clients? Or are you on Instagram to find community with fellow photographers? And you can do both, but you just need to be clear, because what I see a lot of is hashtagging for features. And actually it's not being used as a marketing tool, because your client doesn't, I mean, there's a little bit of, oh, their credibility because they got featured, but actually then you start writing posts and you start posting content based on what you think your peers will like, and not what is going to appeal to clients.
Yeah. And to that, actually, another thought I had is it's very easy to get discouraged for Instagram marketing when you only have like 200 followers, right? But everyone else has thousands. But if you're marketing to local area, you don't need, like, you're not an online business.
Yeah.
You maybe you have 100 followers, and all of them are local parents or
That's
businesses.
amazing.
That's it. That you don't really need more than that. So don't be upset that you're only getting 20 likes.
Yeah. Because again, it comes back to what's the purpose. So if your purpose is, for someone like me, who my job is I work with photographers all over the world and mentor and educate them in marketing, Instagram's a pretty important tool for me. Now, I don't care about getting up to thousands and thousands, but around 2,000, which is kind of, I'm just getting shy of at the moment, that's probably a good amount for me, because I have to kind of think wide as a net. But you're absolutely right. If you're in your local area and you've got 100 parents on there, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's going back to what you were saying about getting validation and putting on on content to get featured and using hashtags to get featured. It actually detracts from what is the purpose of you being on there. Is it for the fun and for the community, or is it to attract clients? That hashtagging thing it's so important, because people aren't going to find you. Your local parents aren't going to find you if you've hashtagged your work with hubs, or you're doing loops with people, and it's not what local parents want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can kind of do both. It's just that you just have to be clear about your purpose. And this is like a broken record with marketing stuff. It's actually, because the thing with marketing is there's this thing where it's actually just business. Like to be good at marketing, you just have to be good at business.
Yeah.
And then we get way late into thinking it's sales. Anyway, we're going back to the start of the conversation, but you just have to be clear. Like, it's all about, what is the purpose I want this to serve? And then I tailor my language. I tailor the type of stuff I post. I kind of am clear about why I'm there. I've got boundaries around what I'll give to it. And then it feels less kind of draining.
Yeah. We have had another question earlier, which was, we kind of touched on that, I think. But if you have any other thoughts about marketing for the long game, and Charlene asked that.
Oh yeah, I think that was an earlier one. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is where I talk about just the fundamentals of marketing. So the way that I would talk about it is, to be good at marketing, there's 3 core questions, which is who are you talking to? Who's your target client? Get into that empathy mapping. What is it that they need from you? What is happening in their life that you can kind of help alleviate stress? How can you kind of really understand deeply who your target audience is? Then it's the what. What is it that you're offering? You know, is it a good, better, best pricing strategy? Is it a one size fits all? Is it that you're doing documentary, or is it that you're doing weddings, or is it that you're doing like, be really clear on what it is that you offer, because it gets really confusing to clients if you're not clear on it. And then it's why. And this connects with a very earlier discussion about your single-minded proposition. So what is it about you and your business that stands out, and that you can kind of own as something that you come back to in all of the ways that you communicate? So that's why I was so excited when documentary is a new thing in the UK, because that is, I mean, you can't all have, I'm a documentary photographer because there's more than one of you, but that is the core of your single-minded proposition, is that you capture the real, you capture the raw, you let go of perfect, you let kids misbehave, whatever that thing is. So it really comes to this. So for long game, it's being really clear on your who, your what, and your why. And then you start building your how around that. The other things I talk about in this space is being really consistent. So, if you know your who, you know what you're selling, and you know why, then you should continually come back to those themes in all of your marketing. So that is on your website, in your Instagram, in the emails that you send as newsletters, in the discussions you're having when you kind of meet someone and you want to kind of pitch your business in a conversation. So keep coming back to those consistently. And then the other thing is, again, we spoke about at the beginning of the conversation, is if you start way back here with the purpose, and you kind of really feel strong that you're going to bring value to a client, and that you can bring that value by, you bringing your art self and meeting their needs, then all of this stuff feels easier. So if you do the hard work right up front about what your art is bringing to the world, and how that art is going to meet a client's needs, then all that ickiness and grossness, it really dissipates hugely, because whenever you're talking about your business, you don't feel like you're trying to be a shady salesperson. You feel like you've got something to offer and you're meeting needs, and therefore you can talk about that more confidently.
Yeah. I think just the fact that Charlene is asking that question, I think she knows that it's a long game. Like, it's not, I'm going to put a post on Instagram and suddenly I'm booked out. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I think that you've reminded me, I loved it when I saw the question, because actually part of what I do, and it depends where you live, it can be different in different markets, but is dismantle this kind of toxic belief that you can click your fingers and have this 6-figure business.
Oh.
I mean, that's part of the problem, is that we're sold this kind of dream of, oh yeah, just, I don't know, follow these 3 steps and you'll be a successful entrepreneur. And it just
use these hashtags
that way. And the other thing, just to go off slightly on a tangent, but it's kind of really important to me, is success is different to everyone. Okay. So we are continually sold this 6-figure thing. And that drives me crazy because, first of all, it's a revenue figure, and revenue doesn't equal profit. Profit is what keeps your family kind of ticking. Revenue is not what keeps your family. And I know you would know this, Antonina, because I know you teach about pricing. And also, some of us don't want that. We actually want to shoot, 10 times a year and the rest of the time focus on family. So the other thing that we kind of bang on a lot about in the course that we do is, don't tell Jan I said it that way, is it's a very Australian term. I don't know, but it translates to American so well, but is that be really clear on what success means to you. Don't chase someone else's success. Don't chase this kind of formula that we're told means you're successful. Work out for yourself what success is and strive for that.
For sure. I actually have a whole workbook in my pricing course about that as well. Figure it out. Do you want to live in the woods with your 10 children and as you said, photograph 10 families a year and that's it? Or do you want to have a jet and photograph celebrities and do 300 sessions a year?
I mean, I worked with a client last week who's an amazing photographer, not documentary, more kind of editorial type stuff. She's amazing. I love her work. And she came to me because, I do business and marketing mentoring. I don't do creative mentoring. But at the end of it, I said, I don't think you should have a business, because she was fulfilled financially in other parts of her life. She loved the art side of it. And really all she was seeking was two things. She wanted validation, and we confuse money with validation. And she wanted community, right? Because photography has a beautiful community side to it. And she can get both of those things without then having the stress of a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
And even within the business context, it's what do you need to survive? Do you need the income to survive or not?
Yeah.
And do you want to live in a luxurious house or in the forest? There's all sorts of different elements. What is it that you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
Or need to get out of it.
And then your marketing. Sorry. Then your marketing depends on that. As if you want to only do 10 clients a year, then you don't your marketing will be very different from if you're high volume, right?
Absolutely. We do goal setting, which is another cringe thing for a lot of artists, but we do that in the course. But the goals are, it depends. There's generally financial goals in there because it's important to have an understanding of profitability. But, I do it alongside. And one of my goals this year was the number of times I want to be at school pickup. I'm not saying that in the kind of 6-figure sales messages that we're given.
And they forget to say, there was this viral blog post that went a couple of years ago. I can't remember her name. Oh, she's Australian. She wrote a book.
Of course.
Yes, she wrote a book. I can't remember. But anyway, there was a blog post about, she has a 6-figure business or whatever. Yeah. And she's a mum. And this myth that as a mum, you can do everything. Of course you can. You can homeschool your kids and you can have 6-figure business, 7-figure buess, whatever. Yeah. And she actually detailed how much help she gets. She has a housekeeper, she has a nanny, she has so much help. So I think we have to be easy on ourselves.
Absolutely.
You need the 6 figures to pay for all the help.
Yeah, totally.
Or you can earn less and do school pickups.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever floats your boat.
I remember, so I was in kind of executive corporate before I went traveling. And I would have younger women say to me, I don't, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I don't. My house is a mess. I've got a cleaner. And I wasn't hiding it, but it just you only ever get a fragment of someone's life.
Yeah.
And you make and we kind of make our own picture from that.
And we kind of fill the gaps, and imagine that everyone has it together but us.
Yeah. I don't think anyone does. Does anyone have it together?
No. We all think that everyone else has it together.
Yeah.
And not ourselves, but we're all thinking that. So none of us have got it together.
I'm just looking at other.
Yeah, I was just saying if there was any other questions that you'd sent to me.
There was we had marketing. I suppose it actually goes alongside with the long game. Really, it's marketing during the pandemic.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Because obviously, as a sort of as a profession.
Yeah.
And I think also not to confuse sales during the pandemic and marketing during the pandemic as well, going back to what we said.
Yeah, I think that's
earlier.
a really good point. I think that's a really good point. So what I wrote down is that, again, it comes back into empathy. So if you are looking to do sales during a pandemic, it's really understanding what does your client need at the moment. So we kind of played earlier on in the conversation about, well, this is actually a time that you're spending time with the kids in a way, and I know that your rules, I don't know your current rules, and I don't know that they shift. So this might not even be possible within your current restrictions, but what are the things that you can offer during this time? And then I wrote a list of things which I don't think maybe are quite right for documentary, but sometimes spark other ideas that I've seen people do. So I'm sure all of you have seen Zoom or FaceTime shoots, and some of them are, okay, but some of them are mind-blowing, some of the stuff that people are doing via screens. I mentioned a girlfriend of mine has started a business, so we had restrictions, as I'm sure you guys did, around number of guests at a wedding. So they've created packages specifically just for the bride, the groom, the celebrant, and the photographer. They're calling them quickies, and that's going incredibly well for them. Gift vouchers, another friend of mine, photographer, I can't do shoots at the moment, but if you want to support me, get a gift voucher. And she kind of got a whole lot of people financially kind of banking on her for a shoot later. Window sessions in the US in particular, it happened in Australia too, and I'm sure it happened there, but I've seen a lot in the US where they shoot from outside the house through the window. And then this was one that was a little bit left field, but I thought I'm going to put it out there and someone creative will come up with something. There is a hairdresser in the States that I follow, which I don't follow any other hairdressers, but it's just one of those hairdressers. And I used to go to the States semi-regularly. So I'm like, well, maybe one day I'll get a haircut with her. So she has a hair salon, but she also does educating of hairdressers. So she's done this amazing thing where she's selling how to cut your own fringe at home. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but she's got the status that people want it. People with fringes, once it grows out, it's a pain.
Yeah.
So she's met the need, right? She's thought about, well, what I can offer is having great hair. That's my purpose. And you can call it superficial, but actually I think a lot of people that connects with them, right? I want to feel good about myself through having great hair. People are at home, they're stuck at home. They need to be able to trim their fringes, and I want them to be able to do it in a way that doesn't completely stuff up their hair. And so she says, buy this couple of things of equipment, and then she does videos. Now, I don't quite know how that works with the photography, but the exciting thing about marketing is looking for those things and really going, okay, what's my equivalent? And what can I do in that space? So that's more tactical. But I think to your point, which was so well made, Antonina, there's a difference between marketing and sales. So you're right, you can keep marketing and building brand and connecting with audience and not put offers on it at the moment too.
Yeah. We actually have on Friday, we have a busy week here. On Friday, we have Folio Albums founder. So
oh yeah, I saw that.
Coming. And they've put an offer out for like really good price, fine art albums. And they sort of put a whole marketing, like selling kit rather, where they give you copy, give you like images, they give you like even a website page to embed on your website. To make it easier for people to buy those albums. So we're going to talk about like getting started with album sales, which is another thing that people I think can do if they want to. And I know lots of people in our community actually going to do that. And I've done it last year where I've had one of my clients actually ended up ordering 6 of them, 6 of those albums with her.
The same or 6 different albums?
6 different albums.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
She basically gave me access to her iCloud. And I've designed going back 10 years, albums of her kids. Like
that's brilliant.
So you can
So not
definitely,
photos that you took.
some of them were mine. We kind of
Yeah.
incorporated them. Some of them were from before she met me.
Yeah.
From other photographers. But it was like kind of like a book for each child. And
Oh, that's
one of them was
amazing.
older, and I think that we had two. And then she had one for her husband, like all the different, different things. Took me ages, obviously, but
Yeah, I was
had
going
the
to say, I hope you
time. I
charged
had
your
the
time on
time.
that.
I had nothing else
But
to do.
I think again, to be intellectual about it and kind of hone a point. So you've gone, okay, what I can do is I'm really good at helping families capture and record the special moments in their lives, right? What they need is they need someone to just help them do it. They want the value of a tangible album. They cannot get their head around how to make this happen. Sweet spot is the offer that you did.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because like there's this trap that photographers fall into where they give the digitals away and no products. And the number of times, I mean, even people can still buy that, even like for me, mine aren't included anymore, but they can still buy them as a separate thing, and loads of people do that. But the number of people who do that and then don't do anything with them because of time, organization, effort, all of these sort of things, that actually it's so important. And because that's also a marketing tool, if people can see your work printed really nicely as well. And when you've got friends coming to see, friends go to people's houses and see stuff, that's the word of mouth for you.
Yeah. There's an amazing photographer in Melbourne, Lifestyle, which does beautiful lifestyle images of family. And her website's amazing because she shows people holding up printed images and she shows it on the walls of their homes. And so actually what she's doing, so I had another client recently who was like, I want to sell prints. How do I do that? How do I bring that into the process? Do I send them an email afterwards? I'm like, no. You do it right at the start. You talk about it as part of your offer. It becomes part of your proposition. You show the examples of it. And then actually when they book you, they already understand that part of that process is that you lead towards a printed product at the end.
Yeah, you plant that seed. Like I think maybe I can't remember the name, but I remember there was a website of a photographer who, normally you go to a photographer's website and there's just images, right? But she had the first image you saw was either an album or a frame on the wall. That could have probably the same person. And that's like starting straight on saying, I'm not just there to give you a disc with images. This is the end result.
Yeah.
And that's part of your brand as well.
Absolutely. And having said that, I know lots of successful photographers who don't want to do that. They just want to do the digital files, and that's fine too. But I think to your point around at the moment, that those extra add-on services, especially because then you can go back to clients that are already have booked with you and worked with you, and it's always easier to work, kind of work with a client and find a offer that fulfills them than it is to go and find new clients.
For sure, yeah. And we can't shoot now, so there we go. We actually had another question. Are you okay for time, Bec?
Yeah, I'm all right.
And stormed your Zoom call.
Oh, I know. Where are they?
Where are these children?
I don't know. They
that's suspicious.
have this knack in this course that I'm doing, which is critiques. They have a knack for like completely not coming in the room until my critique is happening, and then they just like sense it and come storming in.
Yeah,
so,
I know. They have sixth sense. So another question is, I wonder how to persuade people to actually book, to create that sense of urgency rather than just going away and thinking about it. I don't like to hound them.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things in that space. I suspect, and I don't know the person asking, but I do work with a lot of artists, and the majority of the time we're too shy about asking. So sometimes it's just asking. Typical calls to action would be to encourage people based on a limited number or a limited date or a early bird price or a savings if you book by this date. So there are tools that you can use that kind of that we call calls to action. So things that actually just ask for the sale, but also give a reason as to why you should buy now. The other thing that I find is that when you're at a more premium end of pricing, and again, I don't know this photographer, but if they're doing day in the life documentary, that tends to be at a premium price point versus a $200 to $600 lifestyle session. Then often it's really about the relationship building towards the end of the sale. So they've kind of reached out to you because they like what you do. They're keen on kind of moving forward, but they maybe just need some kind of nurture and attention as a one-on-one piece. And that's not about hounding. Again, if you go back to your purpose, which is you have something that you feel will fulfill a need that they have, then you can feel really comfortable just checking in. So we sell we're not, Naked Marketing is a premium priced course because it's an intensive 6-month program. And very often most people book after I've had some kind of personal interaction with them because they've got to the point that they want to do it, but they've got then very specific reasons to them as to why they want to check it's the right thing for them.
Sure. I think it also comes down to like, how do you remind them? How do you chase them up? What's the phrasing you use? So I found that mums are busy, right? Busy mums, they forget. It's not at the top of their list ever to book a photographer unless it's like something very time specific. Like I do vacation sessions, and obviously they have to book them while they're in the country. But I often would reach out and say, I know life is busy. Like I know you have kids, all that. I just wanted to remind you. And sometimes I've had clients literally get in touch, then not hear from them for 4 months. And then they'll be like, I'm so sorry. I like life. I'm going to book now. But I would check in every couple of weeks first, and then maybe another time, a month later, 2 months later. Just check in.
But again, you're meeting their needs, right? So you're going, I understand that you're busy, so I'm going to make it easier for you to just check in, and I'm going to be empathic about it. I'm going to say, I know you're busy, and
no stress.
Exactly. This is where
you're at. You get a sense of whether they're serious, or whether from a phone call, I can tell whether they've found me, like, I don't know, they haven't been on my website properly. They've just seen photographer area and they've phoned without looking what it is that I do. And I can tell, and when I explain, I can tell how that's going if I'm speaking to somebody, or even on an email, if it's an initial email contact. And it's you can get a feeling of who's serious from that. And so then I think if it's quiet and you've done the chasing up, you know when something's gone cold, or whether it's something that's worth pursuing longer, and you've got that sense that they're just busy. They were really interested. I know that. They just haven't got around to doing it.
Yeah.
So keep going, keep going back. Don't hound. But
so how would you do that, Emma? You would send them an email just saying, just checking in. Like, how would you, because I work with the US market a lot, and I do think the UK market's a little bit different. There's a little bit more
we're more reserved.
Yeah, a little bit more reserved. Whereas in the US, like, it's you would just be more bold with your calls to action.
Yeah.
And I think Australia is kind of in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, if you have an American client, you can very well go, buy now.
But that's true.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's really obvious actually, because I've had American. It's quite a different.
Yeah, they're on it. They're with it.
Yeah. And they totally invest in family photography as well.
Yeah.
So they're actually great clients to have. But then it works both ways, because they're very they're not shy in coming forward and telling you something that they want as well, which is great, because you know where you stand. And we're a bit ridiculous like that in Britain. We're all
you can still do it. And then there's the magic email. Do you know about the magic email, Bec?
I don't. Tell
You wanna
me.
know about magic email? I think there's a website, themagicemail.com or something. It's literally a line.
Goodness, I'll have to have a look at it.
Yeah, that you send, and it basically says like, I haven't heard from you. You know, I've been in touch. I haven't heard from you. I assume you're no longer interested by, kind of thing. You can obviously phrase it much nicer than that, and it often prompts people going, "Oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, she's letting go of me. I better not let that happen." And they go get back in touch and book.
Have you tried?
Oh, it's like
tried.
this.
Have you
Yeah.
tried it?
It works sometimes. Yeah, not always, but it works. You phrase it nicely, obviously. You're not going to say.
But I think also you've raised another point for me, which is around one of the reasons marketing is overwhelming is because we reinvent the wheel every time. But actually having things like templates in your email and having things that's just the process that you do them, that can sometimes help with the overwhelm, because you don't need to rethink every time, how am I going to send this email instead. And that's also why, you know, I go right back to understanding your purpose, your who, your what, and your why, because then instead of feeling like there's this common thing in photographers and artists that they get up and they go, okay, today I'm going to do marketing. I'm going to stop avoiding it. And today I'm going to do my marketing. And it's like, well, your marketing it's like your question from someone earlier. It's a long game, right? So you need to be strategic about what it is that you stand for, who your audience is, what your purpose is, all of those key questions that we've spoken about. And then you don't get up going, I'm going to do marketing. It just is already embedded in your business.
Yeah, I am marketing rather.
Yeah. So, you know, teaching how to be a marketer rather than give me some sales tactics. I just want to know, just give me that answer and then I'm going to sell 3 times as much stuff.
Give me the hashtags. Give me all the hashtags.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Do we have any other questions, Emma? I think we've covered a lot of stuff today, haven't we? Nothing. I don't think there's anything else on Facebook. I think we've covered most of the points that we wanted to talk about. Is there anything else, Bec, that you want to tell people or impart?
Oh, no. Well, if I can I'm going to use my own advice and do a call to action.
Okay.
So we, myself and my partner, Jan Palmer, who's a photographer in the US, teach a 6-month course where we dig into all of this stuff, and you really get to identify your who, your what, your why, your goals, what success means to you. And then you build a tailored marketing plan that you can use for the next 12 months moving forward. And we are enrolling at the moment. We have a few spots left in our live program. And if you book by this Sunday, Valentine's Day, I think it's Sunday, Valentine's Day anyway, because we like to make really weird jokes about dating and sex because we're called Naked Marketing, then you save $750 off that seat.
Okay.
And if that's not something that appeals to you at all, come and follow us at Naked Marketing School, because we also do lots of free classes when we can, and you can look out for those.
Yeah, and talk about being naked.
Yeah, that's right. I did turn up to my first.
You do really make, you know, that icky subject, you do really make it sexy, don't you? I mean,
Totally. Like, look at me. Totally.
7
I'm in my like 7 a.m. attire.
Yeah, thank you so much for being up so early with us.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fine. Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to meet you, and I always love spending time with Emma.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop the live now. Wait a sec. It should have stopped, but I'm just going to wait for it to